the lane they are. Ginola does a Stevie car. Herbert's off and let me king. Oh, Teddy's the song we sing. Pure coys, singing from the stands. Pure coys, everybody raise your hands. Pure coys, pure coys, pure coys.
Yes, I'm Nige. This is Pure Coys. Thank you so much for coming to the channel. As always, I know I keep saying it, but please like. It really does matter. And if you want, please subscribe as well. I am chasing down 400. I seem to be stuck on 378 at the moment. So any subs would be much welcome. But I hope you're all having a good Friday. I hope you're all looking forward to the weekend. And I hope you all have an amazing weekend along with the Spurs victory, of course. I love Fridays. They are my favourite day of the week. I've got an hour before my last job, so I thought I'd pop on and just have a quick chat. And what I want a quick chat about is this man here, Glenn Hoddle. What a player. Without a doubt, my favourite player growing up as a child. He was an absolute legend. What Glenn could do with the ball, nobody else could. He was a special player, and he was a Tottenham boy, and he was a Tottenham fan, and he graced White Hart Lane for many years until he left. And the day he left for Monaco, I was absolutely devastated. But I'm not sure whether any of you saw. I'm sure you all did. You watched him on the overlap on Stick to Football with Gary Neville and Scholesy, Jill Scott, Roy Keane, and um, Ian Wright. And they had a really in-depth interview of Hoddle. It was really interesting. Obviously, he talked about England. He talked about Monaco. He talked about his managerial career. It didn't really go too much into Eileen Joy, obviously, but and obviously then he talked about his heart attack, which was super interesting and crazy scary. Yeah, it is. It's a scary thought that, any second it could be any one of us, but you know what happens in life. But right at the end, they talked about Spurs, and I find it quite interesting, a bit of an eye opener for me. And listen, I've never been one to be a massive Levy out. I'm also not a massive Levy in. I'm a fan where if we can get someone better, brilliant. But sometimes, and I've said it many times, better the devil you know. But I don't think we're going to go forward as a club while Levy is in charge. It is clear to me and to many other fans that it is a business to him, and he is not looking to delve too far into the playing side. It's all about making money. And listen, he's done a fantastic job. We have an amazing stadium. We have the very best training ground probably in the world. And for that, Spurs need to be proud, I guess. But some of the comments Hoddle said were really interesting. And I want to go into them quickly now. As you can see, I'll put it up. Hoddle's comments on Levy and Spurs. And what he basically said, he was just talking about, obviously, what Tottenham had done on the pitch, the trophies they'd won in the last 24 years, and the managers that they'd gone through. And basically what he said was this, and he said this on Levy, about Levy. He would have sacked himself if he was honest after 6 years, because Levy has, without a doubt, failed to deliver on the pitch. One trophy in 24 years is not good enough by any stretch of the imagination. And yes, we have reached cup finals. Yes, we have reached semi-finals. And in those 24 years, we've even challenged for the title. 1 year, you could say two. We fell off quite a bit at the end, but we've definitely challenged for a title. We've been in and around it, and we have made cup finals. There's been serious lack of investment, serious lack of a strategy regarding the playing side, and that has affected us so badly, and it's left us where we are now, which in my opinion, and this is only my opinion, is further away than I feel like I've been in years to seeing Spurs challenging for major honours. Maybe we could win a cup. Maybe we could win a League Cup. But I don't think we're anywhere near the title. And when I say anywhere near, I don't think we're in the top six. I think we are well off it and we are well short. Let me know in the comments what you think. Listen, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right. Of course, I'm probably, hopefully, I'm not probably, hopefully I'm wrong. But I don't think we're anywhere near a title anywhere soon. Um, Whereas 6 or 7 years ago under Poch, we were very close to a title. But I've got to be honest, I feel like that was more by luck than judgment. You know, when we brought Poch in, he was not first choice, he was third or fourth choice down the list. And I feel like a lot of the managers we get in recently, I'm not talking about Conte, of course, he was first choice, Jose was first choice, but a lot of the managers we've brought in just lately, Nuno and Postecoglou, have been honest, have been down the list of the choices of managers that we've wanted. So I feel like Glenn's right in that sense. Levy would have sacked him. He should have sacked himself a long time ago. He hasn't. And if it was anybody else, Levy would have sacked him. What he also said is obviously about the stadium. And he said we have the best stadium in Europe, maybe even the world. It's one of the best stadiums out there. We have the best training facilities. We have the best of everything. But Glenn said, I've never seen a stadium win a trophy. Have you? You know, stadiums do not win FA Cups. Stadiums do not win Champions Leagues or Europa Leagues or League Cups. Stadiums do not win titles. Stadiums are just stadiums to make money from. You know, we have built a stadium almost double the size of the original White Hart Lane to make money. And that is what Levy's doing. He is making money. Now, listen, like I say, this isn't a Levy out video, but when Glenn Hoddle, in my opinion, the greatest player in Spurs' history, comes out and says this about the chairman, then surely the fans have to take notice and say, there is a problem here. There is a problem. And that problem is Daniel Levy. Now, also what he said, it's quite depressing reading it. Also what he said was, they have let the football side of things go. It's not really about the football. They never go for the big players. And this, for me, is so true. And this last window, this summer window, says absolutely everything you need to know. Wanted the likes of Golcarez. Wanted the likes of Eze, of Neto, of Gallagher. But we were not prepared to either pay the money or the wages. And that's fact. That's what has come out. You know, Paul O'Keefe said it, that Spurs were not prepared to do this. And we have gone young. And again, coming out from Paul O'Keefe, he is saying that Spurs are looking to trim the squad, trim the wage bill, because they want Spurs as a package to look more, a better buy. So if someone's going to come in and buy them, it's there waiting to be bought, and they haven't got loads of players on high wages. They've bought young for a reason, and it's not because they're rebuilding. It's because they want to maybe, hopefully, at some point, maybe sell the club. But they need to get rid of the high wages first, and they're not prepared to spend the money on the massive players, the big players that will take Spurs forward. So for me, this is another reason why, for me, it's time for Levy to sell up. It's time for him to sell this club and let someone buy it who's prepared to put the money into the team. And people will say, well, he spent 400 million on players. Yes, he has, but it's been spent badly, in my opinion. It's been spent on players that are not going to take the club forward at this precise moment in time. You know, maybe in 5 years, with luck. And I think, again, that's it. We've bought players that we hope in 3, 4, 5 years' time will become top players. They're not top players now. They're good youngsters. They're players that we brought in that we hope will be good players. Either, and almost certainly, so Spurs can get sell-on value on them, or that they can come into the side and hit the ground running and do the business for Spurs. But mainly, I think, so that they can get sell-on value for them. And this is a massive big one. And the last one, really, Jose Mourinho was brought in by Levy to win a trophy. That's what he was brought in to do, to get Spurs over the line, to do what Poch couldn't quite do. Levy didn't want to go out and spend lots of money, so he thought, I'll spend the money on a top-class manager who wins everything, and that will get us over the line. But then, after Jose got us to the League Cup final, a week before the final, not even a week before the final, he sacks him. He sacks Mourinho, and he puts Ryan Mason in charge for the final. The young coach who's had next to no managerial experience into a massive game against Manchester City. Now, yes, it was Manchester City, and Jose may not have won that game. But what Jose was a master of winning trophies, and he had a really good record against Pep. And Glenn said this himself. And Glenn he said he found it really strange that Mourinho was sacked a week before the final. And yeah, he couldn't understand it. You know, this is what Mourinho was brought in to do. And when he did it, he was sacked before he got a chance to finish it. I think Roy Keane said something really interesting as well. He was like, well, do you think that maybe they sacked Mourinho because they didn't like his style of play? And if Mourinho hadn't won the cup, it might have given more clout, a bit more power in the club. And I think that's exactly why Levy sacked him. Exactly why Levy sacked him, because he knew that if Mourinho had won a cup, he couldn't get rid of him. He was stuck with him. But that was the whole reason he brought him in the first place, was to win a trophy. So really cannot understand it myself. I find the interview of Hoddle really interesting. If you haven't seen it, I urge you to go watch it. Glenn Hoddle on Stick to Football, The Overlap is a really good hour. You won't be wasting your time. It's a great show. Go and watch it. I'm going to leave you now and go to work, I guess. Ugh. Anyway, have a great weekend. Have a great Friday evening, and I will see you on the next show. And as always, stay positive, stay poised, and stay Spurs.